There are many people out there living the life that seems so hopeless, which was not so in the beginning. But along the line, everything changed. I want you to believe it when I tell you that change doesn't just occur. Something must happen in order for change to take place. This is Mr. Timothy, a hardworking young man who does menial work to survive, but there is something wrong with him. Mr. Timothy was married to Gina. Gina, his wife, loved him so much, but despised one thing about him. Mr. Timothy just finished clearing the bush for one of his customers and was washing his face. He was washing and resting while waiting for his customer for his payment. The customer came with his money and handed it over to him. He collected it and thanked him. This is one thing his wife hated about him. Mr. Timothy developed the habit of drinking too much alcoholic. Any money that entered his hand must be spent on drinks, and this is one thing that his wife hated about him. His wife was looking for him everywhere until he found him seated in this uncompleted building, heavily drunk. Mr. Timothy lifted his bottle to drink from it, but his wife snatched the bottle away from him. She poured away the drink and threw the bottle away. This is what Gina has been fighting to stop for the past few years. She always felt heartbroken seeing her husband drunk. She moved to the husband to carry him home as usual. She dragged him down from the wall and managed to help him out of the bush. This is one of the lifestyle that most women will never accept from any man, because it will be very difficult for a drunk to look after his home. In the society, such family is mocked. As a woman, being married to such man subjects the wife to object of ridicule in the society, especially among her fellow women. But as for Gina, she chose to stand by her husband because she told herself that the man she married was not a drunk, and that whatsoever that led to such sudden change in her husband's life must leave her husband for her. Gina carried her husband at her back, heading home, not minding what people would say, and Timothy, being drunk and shameless, continued singing and feeling happy because he was carried like a child by his wife. Look at Gina. Without being told, you can see how deeply she loved her husband. Some days later, Mr. Timothy got another contract to clear a bush. He was dedicated to his job. Any job given to him cannot suffer because he must put in his effort to give it the best. And for that reason, he was loved by his clients and well paid and in time. He was working without the knowledge that his wife was making a plan to interfere between him and his client. Gina has everything planned out properly without mistakes. Gina went to meet her husband's client, hoping that the man will pay heed to her plea and explanation. She knocked at the gate, peeping through the gate hole, and suddenly someone opened the gate. It was Mr. Timothy's client, and she started explaining to him what brought her to his house. She was cheerful, wearing charming and smiling face that no one can ignore. She told the client how she loved her husband and has stood by him despite the humiliation he has been bringing upon their family by drinking and falling into ditch anytime money entered his hand. For that reason, she pleaded with him to give her the payment for the work he was doing for him, so that she could use the money to cook for him. At least he will eat food when he returns from the work, other than finishing the money on drinks. The client understood her explanation and handed the money over to her. After the work, Mr. Timothy moved to his client for his payment. He knocked at the gate and the client opened the gate and saw Mr. Timothy. He told him that his wife has come for the money and he gave the money to her. He told him to go and meet his wife at home, but Mr. Timothy was highly upset to hear that. Out of anger, Mr. Timothy left the client to meet with his wife. He entered the compound ready to make quarrel with his wife. He asked his wife to explain to him what gave her the right to go and collect his money from his client. In a normal sense, when a woman takes such step, it will be considered an offense, but Gina has a very good reason for that, which the client understood as well and released the money to her. Gina apologized to her husband first for doing what she did without telling him and pleaded with him to calm down and listen to her. She told him to sit down and eat first. She told him that his money is still intact, that she only removed a little from the money to make food for him. She went closer to him to calm him down and to explain to him further her good intention. The husband was arrested by Gina's gentle touch and romantic approach, coupled with the fact that he was very hungry and exhausted, having been working under the sun for hours. Gina collected his working tools from him and pleaded with him to come with her. He followed her to where the food was kept. Both of them sat down before the food and Gina opened the food for him, giving him a lovely reception and service. Mr. Timothy was hungry indeed because he was noticed not chewing the food, but he was swallowing the food as if his life depended on it. The wife sat down by his side, smiling happily. Few days later, Mr. Timothy returned to the act. He was found heavily drunk. This time around, it was terrible that he was walking, falling and rolling on the ground. Of course, his wife will always be there to carry the load. Why was Mr. Timothy humiliating his life, wife and family? Whatever that might have led to that, do you think that Gina should continue to take such humiliation? Do you think that Gina should continue to care for such husband? Please drop your comment and share this video for others to contribute also. Thank you. I want to thank you all viewers for being here with us. We have recorded over 100,000 persons following our Facebook page. We wouldn't have come this far without you, and we promise to keep improving in our videos. Please keep watching, keep commenting, and keep sharing our videos for many to learn. Bye for now.